This was a story about corrupt, real luxury, the leaders, and last but not least, the storytellers, to the untold and those untold stories, for the voiceless, the secret governors, the Sufis, a story involving politics, education, fiction, and philosophy. This was the storm that crashed the old systems. The storm was the story, the truth and justice, setting myself free with my story. Representing a harmonic new world order, I embody and I embrace this newer book, The Art of Loving Myself. I have an exclusive story to bring to light during this time of evolution and revolution as the corrupt has started to come forward in the public eye. I lived a low profile and survived. I am a ghost in the system. It gave me a chance to speak to the people. And what they seek is change, balance and harmony, which is where we have played our role. We are order in the chaos. We built our organisation from the inside, giving you a unique perspective with information, backed up evidence, PDF files connecting dots of the corruption hidden in plain sight. Aware of the marketing games and schemes that has corrupted our sexuality for those who make profit from our energy, our life force. This is a warning to all parents and government organisations. The global child trafficking dark agenda. And the new paradigm for humanity. Google, YouTube, social media, Snapchat, even those masked as legitimate establishments. How, in a way, these truths have been subtly hinted at, much like the narrative in Monsters Inc. Exposing energy harvesting and trafficking marketing organizations and harassment. The transgender agenda, the whole culture of women, webcam girls, mobile addictions, train dolls. Visit on YouTube site, it said. The tubes working together with AI in a sadistic way to target the weak, exposing the agenda. That was the exploitations of the kids, a story of what happened. Only a story of what was in the past. one organised religion, criminals and satanics, murderers, dark magicians. They influenced Hollywood, the industries, the education system, the religious system, the systems, and they ruled it all. Hook a man on face, and it was like a drug. International project from Japan to Spain, even Islam in Spain, joined the Ho culture, a world Ho culture society against women and children dressing and behaving like Ho culture. Society of women was to make them used and abused, overlooked. Women are powerful, and that's why they were throwing us under the bus. The truth was out, that which the truth was, the understanding and knowing of what you are and what threatened the authorities, distracting everyone playing telephone and video games for money. The girls were dressed like little boys, dressed in shorts and football and nylon t-shirts because it drained the energy of the souls. They were not spiritual and full of themselves. The young generation obsessed with mental disorder of how they look vague material with no real gratification, low chakra, energy moody as hell, dark energy, croaky voices, embodying little dogs and demons. A lot of the children were possessed by darker forces. As for the rest of the world, it was an international threat, crimes against humanity. I embody and I embrace this newer book, The Art of Loving Myself. I have an exclusive story to bring to light. During this time of evolution and revolution, as the corrupt has started to come forward in the public eye, as I began to take down some of the advertising and targeting sexualizing children through advertisements, through these platforms, and advertising such as adverts in the education system, advertising for online education school platforms from girls aged 5 and onwards, with advertising girls with pens in the mouth, like sucking pens with glasses from different ages, over sexualizing all school and advertising, and their agenda of having people wearing gym clothes, young girls in tight leggings and gym tops as a normal clothing in society. This is a no-show face live stream as an anonymous story exclusive being told. They were encouraging children to be on the internet and go online and join webcams. Everything was to This was done through the religious organisations, the governments, the social services, and the establishments, legitimate establishments that are masked, such as the agencies and charities which had other dark agendas, casa operations, more human trafficking, organ trafficking, and a whole genocide, end games operation. From intel from other members and my own downloads information and what I've observed from social services and parents exploiting the children and sexualizing children into this whole culture where they have destroyed the divine feminine because that now shows up as a threat. The trillion-dollar industry had much more satanic agendas of wanting to have people addicted to the virtual headset games and Mave universe, to weakening men's souls, a psychological warfare, sexual advertising on children, persuading men to be sexually attracted to children, whether through advertising, media, or religious incorporates, fake spiritualists. I was exposed to their obsessions and operations, even through my own stories and witnesses. Let's go back to the beginning. 2012, Mallorca. Sat on a bench one early morning. A man came over with two men on his right side. Can I help you, miss? Would you like to assist me? Would you like to accompany me, even? Going over to their hotel. Something suspicious because there was no other people. And we went through this door staff or guests inside, making us the only guests at the hotel. This wasn't just someone who had a hotel, but they had the whole place under a lockdown operation. Gangs in the system and corrupt law enforcement. This was someone of power and someone of status who didn't go by a name or someone in the public eye, but someone behind the scenes, pulling the strings. He was one of the boss, a boss for himself. As we spoke about the puppets and puppeteers, or the fake Illuminati impressions and people in the industry. We had a conversation for a while, and then I went on my way. But I was not alone from that very moment. I was watched, followed, and stalked by different people that I noticed from leaving. Arriving back to the centre, I wanted to get to the airport, and the taxi wouldn't take me. I went into a cafeteria to get a drink, and I was being watched by people. There was a gang who went into the shop next door, and they paid them a roll of money. Sitting and watching me, there was different characters, even elderly people. There were people all around town. I had to ask someone who was working there, who had also had their passport taken and kept by a gang's husband because he was seeing her wife, and he'd been there stuck on the island without an identification. He managed to flag down a bus for me, and I got on a bus to the airport. While driving round in a bus in an airport, there was an elderly man taking photos of me. I then assumed he was part of this gang. You even had police coming in, trying to speak to me about some of the characters who were living there, involved in criminal activity, once they knew I was someone who had mentioned the name of this boss. The police backed off, and everyone around me, making me a go to the situation. I then had people follow me around the airport. I had to make a change of clothes from my suitcase in the public bathroom whilst being taking photos of the bus around the airport. I then went up to the man and mentioned that I knew the boss. I assumed he must have been working in the police because he had documents, and he asked me for my document. We then arrived in a hotel in Palma, where he kept me there for 3 days, assisting that he would be my 70-year-old husband, 60-year-old husband, as I was a 17-year-old. And I cried
I have information on my pen drive. I'm writing a novel, I said. I am to go back to England. We sat over dinner, and he made a threat about one of the waiters, making his power and wealth known, working within the industry. I stayed there alone mostly, but I did arrive back. And the people there, they also had housing around where I was staying. I tried to reach out to the authorities to maybe make a statement. I was soon advised it wasn't the best idea to pursue. And the CIA tried to phone me back wanting more information about what I was about to expose. In 2012, I was a witness to human trafficking and to corruption all around me. 2004, we could call this a scoop, whistleblowing. I never allowed myself to express my gifts. I survived witchcraft, satanic attacks from Muslims wearing masks, exposed to fake spiritualists. My eyes were open, witnessing profound criminal activity, waking me up to my true divinity and to strengthen my path, regaining power and living in my pleasure principle. Goddess luxury has reborn. It's been funny, one of the sense, adventurous, free to be myself, travelling internationally. I connect with the hustlers, the worker boys, the metal collectors, the people, the workers, the mislooked. My energy was the same, but I looked cooperate. It was my disguise. Luxury. Broke is a frequency that you can still have. personality, my persona. And I did not overindulge, I was not confused with balance. To love myself and express my pleasure was one thing, and to use my sexuality for creativity, enjoy myself without my own touch or a touch of another, accept the touch of divinity spreading through my body, my veins, my blood. I could feel the serpent, my spine, as my posture becomes correct and erect. Colour kundalini to heal me externally and internally, reminding me always of who I am and of what I am. Energy, a frequency, a gift, a key, a Mother Earth, a world. The development of AI. I have an insight solution using AI development, a new government policy for the safety of children and everyone, a system relaunch and reload, redirecting the development of AI. From what we've gathered, we could upgrade the system to prevent further crimes against humanity. What's reaching the surface can't be pushed in the ground. The global child trafficking dark agenda and a new paradigm for humanity. The trillion-dollar industry, harvesting organization of energy, human organ, and the harassment on the sexualization of the church and the adverts, the PDF files, and agenda targeting against young children, even children younger, babies and toddlers and children, not only redirecting them to become dark energy, Monsters Inc. A survival between worlds, between energies. A parasite destroying families. The transgender movement, where they're putting transgender men and drag queens into the schools of children to psychological warfare of the children in their mind, making TV programs and adverts and social media ads and shorts that all make sexual gestures from toys to food, targeting children to make children not be in their innocent essence anymore, filling them with dark energy, whilst they harvest any pure energy, any innocent energy. A transformation. Targeting through the education school, the education system, the clothes they wear, the agenda on wearing tight leggings and tight shorts not only is unhealthy for that area, but it's just so people can see them. So this is something that serves a paedophilic agenda, or people sexually explicit, and we've given it the head go. And yes, children should be doing online education platforms in schools, where not only are the teachers and the education system involved in this satanic demoralization and exploitation of children, some of the characters and actors playing in it are dressing in particular clothes, and their agenda is they want women to flirt with teachers and to make women think that they can only be as good as a trained doll, like a trained pet or an animal, therefore not living in their divine essence, innocence, purity, or controlled darkness. Women were a threat to society long before the truth came out. The women and the man coming together is order in the chaos, thus peace, people and communities being in order keeps the world in order. The advertising and photographers were very much zooming in and closing in on sexualizing children and making it adversible to the public eye through the industry, through the media and social media, the education system. This was for the child and women mutation in Africa, and the crimes of imprisoning Afghanistan women and other women around the world, making them sex slaves. This is for the crimes against children and against people around the world. This is for the voiceless. The leaders, last but not least, the storytellers to the untold and those untold stories, the secret governors, the surface, a story involving politics, education, fiction and philosophy. This was the story